Hi everyone, what I wanted to show you was how to create the Apple Catcher game. So the first things first is you would need to create your broadcast. So we're going to do our backgrounds first. So if you click on the stage and then you click backdrops, you can see that you've got three backdrops here. This is, okay, so you've got your main screen, which is obviously the one we're looking at now where all the apples are flowing. You've got the start screen, which has the instructions, and then you've got the end screen, which is telling you what your score is. So to create these the backdrops, all you're going to do is you are going to click either here or you can click here, it doesn't matter, and you click on the paintbrush. And then you can use your squares, and you can be as creative as possible and make this light blue, and then you create another square below and change this to green, and then you can do some little clouds. So you could do this however you want, really. Oh, you want to make sure it's white, and then you can just obviously make this much bigger and then color it in. So say I did 60, you could just color it in and then do another one. Obviously do a much better job than what I'm doing right now. And then to add, so once you've done one, so say this is the main screen, make sure you change the title to main screen, because you want to make sure you're naming these, because when you're doing the coding you need to make sure you're selecting the right one. So it's really important to do that. Now that could be the next one. You could do duplicate, and then to add text you just add the T, and then you can add your text here and change the color if you wish to as well. Okay, and then obviously you're going to change that to start screen, and then you're going to do end screen. So you should in total have three screens, three backgrounds. Okay, and once you've done your backgrounds, you need to do a broadcast to basically say once certain things on the sprites are clicked, you are then going to switch to which specific backdrop. So in the backdrop stage, you're going to have some code, and you're basically going to say when you start with a green flag, you're going to switch to background the start screen, which is the introduction screen here. And then when you receive the start game, you will then switch the background to the main screen, and when you receive the end game, I've spelled this wrong, sorry, you are going to switch to the end game screen backdrop. Okay, so I would do that first. Then once you have done that, I would then start to create your sprites. Okay, so again, to create your sprite, you would click here, go to paint, and you would create your little button. You can do that again however you want. Make your little box again, how we did last time. Change the color, and then write your text in, like start game or something like that. Again, please make sure that you are naming your sprites, because you will need that in your coding. Okay, so if I go to this one here, you've got start game, and then the code for this sprite is going to be quite simple. It's literally going to be when the green flag clicks. So if I click the green flag, you can see the backdrop has showed, as well as now the button is showing. It says show. And then you're going to say when the sprite clicked start game, which is this sprite here, you're going to hide this button. You're going to hide the sprite because we don't want the sprite anymore. And you're also going to hide the end game as well, because you don't need that. Okay, so this is the code just for this particular sprite, which is the start game button. Now if I move to the basket, which obviously if I click, can you see my basket is moving right to left? So if I quickly go through this, so obviously you've got when the green flag is clicked, we're going to hide it. And the reason we're hiding this is, remember, when you click the green flag, it starts the game. The game is to show the introduction slide as well as the button. But when we receive the start game, which is this sprite here, we're going to show, and remember we're doing this basket only, we're only coding this basket for this sprite. We're saying I want it to be at X and Y axis, so you can change them by using this here. And forever, if I move the right key, let's start again, if I move the right key, it's going to go X5, and if I use the left key, it's going to go -5. Then it's also going to say when I receive the start game again, I will set score to 0, so it can add up your score. And at the same time, you're going to say when I receive the start game, which is this background, I'm going to set my timer to 30. Because remember, the game is you've got 30 seconds to catch how many apples. And then forever, wait 1 second, and every time a second passes, you're going to change the timer by, you're going to minus the timer by 1, because you're counting down. And then you've also got if your timer equals 0, so once it's past 30 seconds, then your broadcast will change to the end game, and you stop this particular script that is running for this basket. Okay, and then you've also got when I receive the end game, you will then say, which is showed up here, and your basket will still appear here as well. You will say you will join your score, and whatever the score is that you've enabled here, this one here, it will tell you, and it will last for 10 seconds, and then you'll stop all script. Now to do the variables, you're going to click variable here, and I've already created my score and time, so that's why it appears. If it doesn't, you're going to click new variable, and then you will write time and score. Now I could as well click on these boxes, and they can actually show up during my game as well, which might be easier as well. Okay, so they're for the basket. Now for the apple, if I click on the apple, again, you're going to create your sprite, your costume, you'll create your apple here. Okay, so a circle, mini circles here. It's quite simple, just use these commands here. So again, for the apple, again, you're going to do when the green flag is clicked, you're going to hide it, because again, you want the button to show. You also want to say when I've received the end game, so you know right at the end, once your timer is 0, you obviously want to hide your apples, yeah, because this is the screen that you want to show. So something that's quite new that we haven't done is, can you see that when I play it, so let me play it again, my apples are randomly coming down. I haven't said when to come down, so it's forever show the apple is going to X, which remember your X is this. It's and then your Y is this way. So you want the Y to be the same, but your X, you want it to drop down at any time. Okay, so that's why you've picked a randomly, one apple will go a certain way. Okay, and then you're going to repeat it 71 times, and then you're going to change the Y each time to -5. And that basically just means that the apples are randomly dropping at different directions. And then same thing as when I receive the start game, forever, if it touches the basket, for the red, you're going to hide the apple, and then you're going to change the score by 1. So let's do that now. Let's see if I can grab one. There you go. Can you see it's gone to 1? And then I didn't catch that one. And then it's gone to 2. Okay. And that is basically the code for the apple. And it's the same for this code here as well. It's exactly the same. Okay. Now, for the brown apples, remember it will be exactly the same regarding the random, when you randomly want to put it down. The only change would obviously be is if it touches the basket, then you are minusing 1 point and not adding 1 point. Okay. This I have also done a PowerPoint here as well, which has step-by-steps on things that you need to do and the codes to help you out. Okay, so I would take a look at that as well.